Well, good morning. This is Steve with my hiking buddy Jeno.
Good morning.
And we are at the Tradition Lake trailhead of Tiger Mountain. And we're going to go up to do a loop hike that's going to take us down on the road by I-90 and then up High Point Way to where it connects with the Tiger Mountain Trail. And we're going to take the TMT up to a very impressive backcountry bridge, Murats Bridge. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it's one of the biggest backcountry bridges in the state. It's an impressive structure. But we're the only two guys here this morning. It's 5:30, about 53 degrees, and we're going to head out. So I'll check in a little bit later. The first part of this walk, we're going to head through the woods here and head down to this frontage road along I-90. And I won't film much there, but we'll check in. Thanks for hiking with us. So we're off the road, and I wanted to show everybody this. We're standing on an old bridge over High Point Creek here, and we've been looking for a date on this thing. We think this is the old highway before I-90, which I think was US 10, that went up over Snoqualmie Pass. So you're kind of on this very narrow two-lane road, but that's what it looks like to us, and then High Point Creek is right down below us here. But surprisingly, as we walk down the road, there are two hikers ahead of us. One guy took off, and then the second one looks like he's a worker. He's got a hard hat and all kinds of gear. So we'll check in up above. So we started from that gap over there, and we went down to the right onto the frontage road along I-90, and then you follow it back, and right past that bridge that I showed, you make a hard right turn and start your climb on the High Point Way trail. And so anyway, we're heading up this way. We'll connect with the TMT in a bit, and like I said, I'll fill you in on the bridge and some of the story behind that when we get closer. So we did pass the one guy that had all the gear, and he's not a worker. He's actually just a guy with a bunch of stuff on his pack, in his pack and on his back. He told me he's trying to get in shape, so we'll see. We go through this little gate, and trailhead's up this way. So we'll check in a bit. So I'm taking a break here on the High Point Trail, and you follow High Point Creek, which I can barely hear running down to my right. But what's interesting is out in the middle of nowhere, you come across this big electrical box. You can see the insulators underneath it. It's obviously been disconnected, but it's just out here in the middle of nowhere. Don't know what it was used for back in the day. It's obviously pretty old, but obviously some type of electrical connections. And so anyway, Tiger Mountain, just a little factoid from Steve here. Tiger Mountain has over 100 miles of trails. And we chose this one because you usually don't see a lot of people on it, either the High Point Trail or the Tiger Mountain Trail. And we also wanted to see the bridge. But over 100 miles of trails up here, and it's a beautiful setting and a beautiful morning. The sun's coming out, and we're going to head up this way and see the bridge. And then we're going to loop back toward where we started. If I haven't mentioned already, I think it's about a 5-mile loop. So anyway, more to come when we get close to the bridge. We're about a half-mile away, and I'll give you some background on the bridge when we get up to it. So, beautiful morning. So when you hike on Tiger Mountain and come to trail intersections, they have a nice network of signs. We're going to turn right here on the Tiger Mountain Trail. And you can see all the various directions you can go. We have been on the High Point Trail. We're headed up this way. So just some background, Murats Bridge, I believe it's 220 feet long, iron, steel, big piling set in the ground, and it replaced a smaller bridge that was destroyed in a windstorm. And Murat, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, he was a young man who passed away, I'm not sure what of, but his family donated some money to the DNR, and the state built this bridge about 4 years ago up here. And once you see it, just for being out in the backcountry at Tiger Mountain, it just is so impressive to see, because most of the bridges up here are small and they're made out of wood. In fact, I'm just going to keep filming because I can see it up ahead. So, we're almost here. But anyway, there's a guy who did a blog on its construction, and it was very interesting. It took about 2 months to build. There it is, spanning over High Point Creek, this very impressive structure. And I believe, like I said, it's either the longest or one of the longest backcountry bridges in the state. So, pretty impressive when you get up by it here. And it's probably 30 or 40 feet over the creek, which the old trail used to go down this way. I'm going to take you with me as we come up to the bridge. And as you can see, he far too young, 33. But if a tree fell on this, it wouldn't go much. It didn't do much damage. You can see all these big beams here, the railings tied in with these big bolts. And High Point Creek is flowing pretty well this morning for the time of year it is. Mid-July, I thought it wouldn't have much water, but it's flowing pretty good. And it heads down below us here. But this is Murats Bridge, just a very impressive structure. And Jeno and I read about it and came here a couple years ago, and it's, like I said, it's kind of a fun alternate hike to some of the other ones on Tiger. And we really enjoy coming up here and seeing the bridge. We're going to take a break on this side, and then we're going to continue up the TMT and head back toward the cars. So, more to come. Jeno and I were saying we're looking at some of these big trees around the bridge, and we were wondering if the bridge would hold up in a storm if one of these big trees landed on it. My guess is yes, but who knows? I'm taking the camera off the railing here, like this big tree over here, and then there's those twins over there. But this is a very impressive, well-built structure. Steel cables, these big pieces of iron. Take a lot to damage this bridge, in my opinion. So we're going to head up the trail. We got a couple smaller bridges to cross. I'll take a picture of those. They're smaller wooden bridges, but they're impressive as well. We'll take a look at those in a bit. Jeno was commenting on the support beams on each end, these big steel beams that obviously are set down in concrete down below, but they're as impressive as the bridge. So this thing was built to last. Well, we've seen our first hiker going the other way already, and I'm filming this section because there's a strange thing happening. For the first time in weeks on one of our hikes, there's a big bright object over this way in the sun, or in the sky. It's obviously the sun. We've been on so many hikes this year that have been so clouded over and gloomy, and finally some sunshine. Nice to hike in the sun. So that's all. Just wanted to show you that we do hike when there's nice weather and not just gloomy weather. Should be coming up to those bridges here in a bit. We'll check back in then. So if you're ever in this part of Tiger Mountain and want to work out, The K3 trail. It's straight up this ridge. Jeno and I have taken it. It's a workout. What's interesting though, it says unmaintained, but it's in pretty damn good shape, let me tell you. It's better maintenance than some of the other trails up here. So we've seen our second hiker this morning. Actually, it was a runner. He kind of surprised us. He came up real fast, so barely able to get our masks on. Actually, not masks. I'll show you a little bit later what I wear. But we're pretty close to the bridge. So this section of the trail had a washout. Don't know when, recent. You can see the blow down here. But they fixed it. Kind of carved a path through here. We're coming to another bridge. So there's two smaller, I don't know, these are 30-foot bridges over High Point Creek. And this is the first one. But it's not as big as the other one, and it's made out of wood, but it's equally impressive in my opinion. Boy, they've got some big beams on this thing. And then we've got a second bridge not too far from this one. As we meander along the TMT here, it kind of goes up, kind of goes down. This kind of roller coaster ride type trail. Nice morning. So we crest a little ridge there after that bridge, and we come to this second one. So looks like the first one, doesn't it? It's kind of funny. There's these two bridges. They're right separated by a ridge. This one has kind of got a lean. It kind of leans to the left here, my left. So you can see they've replaced some of the railing, but there's definitely kind of a lean on it. But we're approaching, oh boy, it's like a jungle back here. We're approaching the high point of the Tiger Mountain Trail in this section pretty quick here. And once we get to it, it's all downhill, and it's in places it's pretty damn steep, let me tell you. Uh-oh. Watch out, don't want to get stuck. Boy, this is overgrown. This is overgrown a bit from last time. So, we'll check in a while. Sun's out. No bugs, which is what we always like. Jeno, I think we're fast approaching the time where I'm not going to be able to say that in my videos. Okay, we'll check in a little bit. After that second bridge, you make a long traverse here. You can see we're in the light and the shadows this morning. Nice to have some sunshine. So one thing I wanted to mention is in this age of COVID-19 and social distancing and mask wearing, people have asked me, what do I wear on the trail? And I tried a mask, didn't like it. Tried a bandana, but that involves constantly retying the dang thing around my giant head. So one day I was perusing the internet and I saw this neck gaiter made by a company called Mission, and you wear it around your neck. It's a wicking material, very lightweight. And then when you see someone coming, you can pull it up over your mouth and nose. And then when they pass, pull it back down. And I really like it. I was telling Jeno, not that I need it this time of year, but it keeps my neck warm. And I thought come winter, some of those cold, wet hikes, even if I don't see anybody, I might wear it. So we're on our descent on the TMT, which is overgrown in spots here. It's kind of like a jungle, but hey, it's dry, which is nice. If it was wet out, we'd be getting soaked, since we're both in shorts. But we were commenting, and I'm going to shut up here for a second, but we are kind of above and paralleling I-90, and even up here at elevation, you can hear the traffic. I'm not sure how much sound gets picked up by this thing, but so we're kind of surprised, even at elevation. We think it has something to do with the clear weather. Most of the times we've hiked this trail, it's been a kind of a drizzly, cloudy day, and that kind of cuts down on the sound. But boy, this is just overgrown. Welcome to the jungle, as Guns N' Roses sang once. So the TMT switchbacks down that hillside. Then we come to this big, we have a long level traverse, and then we come to this intersection here, and this is the infamous cable trail. And there's a guy, actually he's shirtless, going up. And the cable trail heads down that way. We're going to continue on the TMT across the way here, but the cable trail is quite the workout. It's pretty much from the road by I-90. It goes straight up to the summit of West Tiger 3, and West Tiger 3 is kind of the most popular. There's a more easy, relatively speaking, trail that goes to the summit of West Tiger 3, and that's kind of the most popular spot here on the west side of Tiger Mountain. But the cable trail, as I said, it goes straight up. It's quite a workout. And years ago, when he was the Seahawks coach, I used to see Jim Mora up here doing workouts on it. A lot of people use it to run up or hike up with a big pack. But anyway, we've seen 4 hikers, and then the guy going up the TMT, or excuse me, the cable trail. We're on the TMT. So we're about a half mile from the parking lot here. We got a little bit more descent to go, and I'll check in one final time when we get by the parking lot. Well, hello, this is Steve checking in one final time. We're in the final stretch, level ground, heading to the parking lot. And let's see, it's a little after 7:30, so roughly a little over 2 hours to do the loop. And since I last checked in at the cable trail, believe it or not, we've seen 12 hikers. There was one large group of 8, and then a pair, and we got another guy coming here, so we're going to be up to 13. Hold on a second. Okay, so 13 plus the 4 we saw earlier, so 17 on this trail. So I don't know, maybe a little more than we expected. Not a real popular trail. It's a popular trail with joggers and runners. You see a lot of joggers on the trail, and we saw probably 4 or 5 today. So anyway, we're almost back to the main trailhead here. I'm going to show it to you. And this intersection, so we're coming out of the TMT. And if I were to go left, that would take us up to the summit of West Tiger 3. So, and this is a trail sign there. So going this way goes up to West Tiger 3, and back here is where we're going to finish up. Parking lot's right past this gate here a little ways, about 100 yards. So anyway, 17 hikers total, a little over 2 hours to do the 5 miles. Beautiful morning. Seems to be getting a little bit cloudy. I think it's supposed to rain later tonight. So, but no rain today, no bugs. We started early enough. Saw the one guy on the cable trail without a shirt, so hopefully he had good bug spray, because I'm sure higher up and later in the day you'll get chewed up a bit. But that's it. Right now, I told Jeno the weather forecast for this coming week looks pretty nice, so hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed. We'll finally get up to Crystal Peak and be able to do that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the hike. From Tiger Mountain, This is Steve saying thanks for hiking with us.